Hey everybody, this is me Edward Jones back with a new video. I'm doing a video response to Northwest Prepper 411's video entitled What's Wrong with This World? And in this video he talks about how in Vancouver they have vending machines that dispense crack pipes for 25 cents, and he believes that's a sign of great moral degradation. Maybe not just in Canada, but he sensed a lot of it going on in our own country. Now, he mentioned how there are some people who, I think it was Alan Combs, who was on Bill O'Reilly. He advocated the legalization of all drugs. And before I get into the discussion, I just want to give you a little background history of my life. I essentially grew up without a father. Because he spent most of my childhood in prison. I remember being around 4 years old. My mom gave me the phone to talk to my dad. I knew where he was. He had a drug habit. He abused crack cocaine, and I remember he stole from us repeatedly to support his habit. The last time I actually spoke to him, it was on my 8th birthday. He came by our apartment to get his stuff, and I remember him packing. His stuff was in my room, so I remember he was packing his stuff up. He didn't really say anything to me. Remember I told him it was my birthday, and he looked at me and said "Happy birthday," and then went right back, packing his stuff up, and he left. And at the age of 8, I wasn't upset. I wasn't sad. I knew what was going on, and I know there are other families out there that see the effects, that they're true witnesses to the effects of what drug abuse has on a person's life. And it's a very sad scene to see someone's life crumble before you. But with that being said, I have to say that I am actually in favor of the decriminalization of all drugs. Before I get into why I support that premise, I will get into I'll read maybe about 2 quotes from this book I have. Quote of the Founding Fathers. I got this book back in 2010. It's a real good book. The first quote is from James Madison to Thomas Hurdle, and it's dated December 20th, 1819. A complete suppression of every species of stimulant indulgence, if attainable at all, must be a work of peculiar difficulty, since it has to encounter not only the force of habit, but a propensity in human nature. In every age and nation, some exhilarating or exciting substance seemed to have been sought for, as a relief from the languor of idleness or the fatigues of labor. In the rudest state of society, whether in hot or cold climates, a passion for ardent spirits is in a manner universal. In the progress of refinement, beverages less intoxicating, but still of exhilarating quality, have been more or less common. And where all these sources of excitement have been unknown, or been totally prohibited by a religious faith, substitutes have been found in opium, in the nut of betel, in the root of ginseng, or in the leaf of the tobacco plant. Essentially, James Madison is saying that if there was ever to be a movement to rid any society of such substances, in his days it was called, they were more or less plant-based, which they still are today. He said it'd be of extreme difficulty, because it would have to fight against human nature. And I believe we're smart enough to know that if someone wants something, they're going to find a way to get it. As he describes it as, has to encounter not only the force of habit, because people will tend to go back to things that that they like, but a propensity in human nature. Here's another quote. This one is in the chapter about tobacco. Um, Another quote from James Madison. This one's to Benjamin Waterhouse and is dated June 22nd, 1822. I have received your favor of the 9th with a copy of your lecture on tobacco and ardent spirits. It is a powerful dissuasion from the pernicious use of such stimulants. Its foreign translations and its reaching a 5th edition are encouraging evidences of its usefulness. However, much of it be feared that the listlessness of non-laborers and the fatigue of hard laborers will continue to plead for the relief of intoxicating liquors or exhilarating plants, one or other which seem to have been in use in every age and country. We can even go back to the Bible and learn of, the use of raisins and the use of grapes, of course, to make wine. That there always been a substance that a person will use to either kill time when there's nothing to do, which would be for recreation, or to relieve themselves after doing a lot of work. And I've done that myself. Now, me saying that, I enjoy alcohol now and then, but I don't drink it very often. I've never been drunk. I don't think I've ever gone above 2 bottles of beer at a time. I used to buy beer when my mini fridge worked. When it stopped working, I don't think I bought a beer in about 6 months. Usually the thing I keep in the house is milk, root beer, and water. Do I look down on other people who drink alcohol? No. Do I look down on people who get drunk? Somewhat. I'd rather people not get drunk. But if they do, I'd rather have someone around them responsible to handle any situation that may come up while they're intoxicated. I know there have been parties over here, and one of my friends he gave me his shotgun and his knives because he knew he was gonna drink a lot of alcohol. And I said, sure, I'll watch him for you. The point being is there are always going to be ways for people to find a release. Whether like I said, whether it be in opium, whether it be in ginseng, or whether it be in tobacco, whether it be liquor, whether it be beer. I know Benjamin Franklin was very fond of beer, but he didn't care too much for hard liquor. I think one of the things he said was it set a fire inside of a man. I guess in the sense it brought out a man's ugly side at times. But there will always be ways that people will find a release. There will always be ways that people will get high. People will always get high. People will be getting high, since someone found out how to do it, and it is not going away anytime soon. When I think of when I think of the way substances are being abused, I understand the pain that people will feel to see this kind of stuff going on in society, but I think the situation we have now is worse because, I take prohibition for example. That was started over the teetotaler movement. They didn't like alcohol, and so they found a way to have the government suppress it, try to stomp it out. They thought it'd be better for everyone if there was no alcohol. Where did that get us? It got us organized crime, and it gave a bad name to machine guns, which I think both those things are atrocities in themselves. But in the end, it comes down to how far will we go with morality. I mean, to me, and I believe history has shown this, the best, if you want people to act right, educate them, and be the example that they need to follow after. Even Christ said that we can't force anyone to hear the truth. We can't force anyone to believe. We have to live it. They have to see it in us. We have to live it out ourselves, and teach them. In the hopes that they will follow it. If they don't, leave them to their fate. That's their decision. And the same applies to this. I understand that people don't like the fact that drugs are out there, but the reality is they're always going to be out there. You know, people are always going to find ways to make drugs, to get drugs, steal drugs, sell drugs. I think the best thing that could happen for all of us after seeing what the war on drugs has given us is just let people, do what they want with their bodies, provided that they don't, provided they don't harm anyone else. Now, if someone harms anyone else, um, I think whatever substance they were on, yeah, I guess it can be brought into consideration. But I think overall, the fact that they were using the substance shouldn't be grounds for punishing them. How a person acts should be the only thing that are grounds for punishment. And the reason, look into why they did it. But I say let's look at those. Let's look at the harm that people cause to each other. People harm each other without drugs. So I think the one to see our society rid of drugs, it comes at a high cost. It comes at high cost in terms of liberty. It does come at the cost of liberty, because if you want something to get stomped out, and you're asking the governments to do it, they're gonna want more power, which means we're gonna lose more liberty in the process. We're gonna lose a lot of money, because to do all those projects, it's gonna cost a lot of money, which the war on drugs has shown to be quite expensive, and virtually no gains made. So if I had to weigh it out, I'd rather someone be smoking crack in their apartment than to have a SWAT team kicking someone's door because they may be underage drinking, or someone may or may not be smoking weed, things like that. I'd rather people do what they want to do with their bodies than to see privacy rights trampled on. I'd rather see more liberty with education to help show people how it can be used responsibly, and to see more tyranny, which will do nothing but ruin more lives because someone found a way to control others through the use of public opinion. And that's just the way I feel about. That's just the way I feel about. And that's how I thought it. I thought this stuff through for a long time. And I have friends that they support legalization of marijuana, but they don't necessarily support seeing crystal meth being legalized. And I say, well, why not? People are gonna find ways to make it anyway. You might as well just until they harm anyone, leave them alone. It's a shame that they are doing those things to their bodies, which I don't support. But I'm not going to favor putting them in jail. For what? If a person wants to ruin their body, it's sad to say, they're free to do so. The only thing that can be done is you talk to them. You be genuine. You be honest. You be courteous. To dissuade them from doing such practices. Sending a SWAT team or putting them in jail for several years is not going to do anything. Especially in this country. Looking back at our own country's history, we have a long track record of not doing what the government tells us what to do. We don't like being told what to do. I guess once you've been free, you don't want anything else. You don't want anyone else to try to control your lives. I mean, for us that enjoy shooting firearms, I'm pretty sure it's the same case. We don't want anyone telling us what to do with our guns, how many guns we can own, how much ammo we can have, what type of guns, all this, that, and the other, and all the regulations and all the garbage that goes along with it. We don't want that. Honestly, I don't think we want that. I think we'd rather be free and just to be left alone to do what we want with what makes us happy. All I say is let's extend the same courteous to those who, they want to do drugs. That's their thing. Let them be to do what they want. Of course, until they hurt someone else. Then becomes a problem that has to be addressed. But for those who don't do anything, who enjoy the same substances, that's cool. But tell me what you think. If you think if you support what I'm saying, please let me know. Leave a comment. Make a video response. If you don't like what I'm saying, please leave a comment. Please check out Northwest Prepper 411's video. I'll leave a link in the description box for you to, so it'll be easier for you to access. But that's my video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm Edward Jones. You have a nice day.